Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Witchy
Yay!
Wednesday. We just got done with
Yay!
a wonderful episode of Boob Tube, and tonight we are talking about crystals and unlocking the power of crystals. But we have a special guest with us, Nikki Knight.
Yay!
She's
Hello,
guesting
everyone.
everywhere.
Well,
I'm dragging, I'm dragging her everywhere I go.
it's see what's happened is Carrie, she had a spell, and I'm the times 3 back on her.
Oh yeah,
hmm Absolutely,
now I can't get rid of her. Everywhere I
exactly.
go, she's like, "Here I am. How did you get the link?"
Pops right up.
Can't
Like,
bind me. Can't bind me. Mm-mm.
nuh-uh, mm-mm. So, one of the things that's really interesting about crystals is that, of course, their their power is based off of how you intend to use them, but some of them have some very strong importance in our daily lives. And Anita, this was something that you wanted to talk about. So,
Yeah.
show us your first crystal and tell us what it is and what's the power behind it.
Okay, so my first crystal is a clear quartz. I wear it around my neck and it's just for like good energy for me. And just like helps support my daily goals all the time because I have ADHD real bad and I am running around all the time with a chicken without a head. So I need it to help me balance myself.
Cool.
Do you like rub on it, or what is it? How do you activate it? Does it just work naturally, or do you have to say a spell, or like how do you activate your crystal?
So I'm a firm believer that they're like activated by the light. So like I leave them by the windows to like recharge. Um,
Oh,
and
okay.
I just like when I wear it, I play with it a lot. So like I rub on it. It's a necklace. I have another one on right now, so I don't have this one on. But yeah, I rub on it a lot for like to get the good vibes from it.
Cool.
Okay. Nikki, it's your turn for show and tell. What crystal do you want to show us and tell us what it does or what's the meaning behind it? How do you activate it? That kind of stuff.
Okay, so I've had many, and I mean, I have my dragon stone for personal power here, these guys. I've got these just regular quartz that I turn into a ring, just because I think it's really cool. But this, I feel very creative whenever I'm wearing these guys. These little my cat ears are with these. I don't even know what these are. There's some kind of quartz, I'm sure. These guys I haven't really messed with that much, but I am always wearing my guy right here, and it is oh, I can't even remember what it is. It's like a dang it, I can't see messing it up. I have many rings that I've gotten from when I've gone to Bamford Jasper. For those of you who know, these are national parks with beautiful, beautiful mountains and springs and everything. And there's so many crystals that come out of these mountains and rivers and just rocks like laying around. There's lots of jewelry there. And I always try and buy a new piece whenever I go. And I will look at the tray of gemstones and crystals and just kind of let one speak to me. And so whether it's one that matches the color of the water or it just, I don't know, I just let it pull my attention. And so those ones are really nice. And the last one I have here for you guys is I got this one, this gigantic rose
And
quartz.
it's a heart.
It is a
Oh,
heart,
I love that.
right? It is supposed to help me love better and the people who I'm loving. It's supposed to unlock the love I'm having with someone and allow me to have a healthier, like, approach the relationship with a healthier state of mind and a healthier ability to love someone more completely without any kind of baggage or um, negativity surrounding that. So it's gigantic amplifier. And unfortunately, I got this from an ex, but I definitely kept this. He was a douche, but
Well,
it did help me because I got rid of him right quick. And now it feels great.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
So
Now I really, really like it.
what color is the stone that's around your neck?
It's purple. I think it's an
Amethyst.
amethyst. Yeah, it's an amethyst.
Well, let's take a look right here. Can you guys see my screen?
Mm,
Yeah.
All right, let me come back. Okay, we're all there still. Okay. Let's look through. I was gonna say it could have been an agarine. It looks like it's the amethyst.
yes.
And let's see, what else do we have here? I really like this Arctic chalcite. Arctic, that's really pretty color. I love that turquoise. But look at this azurite.
So
That
beautiful.
blue. Yeah. Blue apatite
Ooh.
makes you hungry. Oh, look, bronzite, just like your heart.
There you go. Like a
But
tiger
yours is
eye. That's amazing. I
that is
love all
really
these.
pretty. Calcite,
Oh, my
sherite.
ring is onyx. Or no, I think it's actually, what is this guy? It's made of a stone. I'm like the worst person for this. I wear all these stones, but I clearly don't even know their name.
It's
But
okay.
I,
It's hard to remember all the names.
yes.
Well, that's why we're on the site because look at all these are different
Hmm.
variations of crystals and stones that you could see. There's kyanite. Um, Look at that Larimar. That's really pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, these are beautiful. Let's see. Ooh, pendants. Oh, that's not the name of a crystal. That's the name of the jewelry. I'm so special, so special, so special. Ooh, pyromorphite,
Ooh.
quartz crystals, rosacite,
Oh,
rhodonite.
I have rose quartz, a rose quartz one.
Yep. Rose
It's hard to
quartz.
see it,
Yep,
but yeah.
rose quartz.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't. Mm, I was gonna say maybe some of these look like your ring, but
The one going up, I think, is the one.
ooh, the varsicite, another heart.
Yeah.
Unikite. Those are hearts. That's really pretty. And let's see. Did we pass onyx?
I think so. I think it's going to be that shiny egg right there. Not well, that's silicone. That's not it, but it's a
And
very
then
common one. There's a lot of things are made of this like black,
Oh, I
really
have an
shiny.
obsidian one.
Oh, nice.
It's a little
oh, that's
turtle.
pretty.
Cutie.
Let's oh, that's so cute. I love that. Okay. Yeah, there's just so many different types of crystals and stones. Yeah, so oh,
I've had a lot of
howlite.
moonstone. Halite? Let's see.
Yeah, that's a heart.
Oh, very nice.
Talk about your moonstone.
Oh, I've had a lot of moonstones because moonstones are supposed to be for communication, but I
Mhm.
always find that they somehow reject me. Meaning, like, I really like the moonstone. I think they're very pretty. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's for communication, maybe I need to be able to communicate better. Anita, I myself have ADHD, and I would love to get the thoughts out of my head in an appropriate manner that would communicate an idea to someone else. Amazing. But
Yeah.
it's brutal. So I've gotten the moonstone, but they always seem to leave me. They just don't. I don't like the way they look on my skin, and they just vanish, which is something I've always found quite interesting. So I'm just still a confusing bitch over here.
I understand.
Hmm.
It's
I
okay.
understand.
Hmm.
I'm
And we're
looking.
definitely not considering. No, no, that's not a crystal at all. I was thinking about like different ambers and stuff like that, but no. And I even have one of the things on there where it's actually like a fossil of a shell, amylite.
Mhm.
And that only comes from one place in the world, and that's where I usually get my stones from. Yeah, yeah.
And where's
And
that?
it's that one was on your list, and it looks like almost like a rainbow. It's like a dark red, bronze, yellow, green, blue rainbow, and it's petrified fossil, shell fossil.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Hmm. Don't know if we would consider that a crystal though, because it's a fossil.
So maybe that's a good thing that we can look up. What is the definition
Hmm.
of a crystal? We're looking it up on
Like what
Google as we speak.
qualifies as one?
We're gonna Google it. It is a piece of homogeneous solid substance having a natural geometrical regular form with symmetrically arranged plane faces.
So it would not be a crystal.
No.
No, because it's a petrification of something else that is turned into this thing. It hasn't grown on its own like those cool things that are like squares and cubes on top of each other's with it's crystallized in the cool shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to meet the definition of a crystal to have crystal-like,
Powers.
abilities. So
Yeah.
powers, that's a great definition or word to use.
Hmm.
So let's talk about what these crystal powers do for us. And like you said, one of them was for communication
Hmm.
and relationships and different things like what isn't there a crystal that like wards off or is supposed to help ward off like evil or people that mean you harm or
Heck
things of
yeah.
that nature? What
Let
crystal
me
would that
find
be?
the name. This one actually is these are for personal power. So every single time I look at these, it's to help you unlock your own personal power, remember your own power, remember your strength. And while even if you don't necessarily believe in the power of the stone in and of itself, and I think that crystals are powered by, yes, the moon. And also, for me, I feel like they can be powered by special places or certain bodies of water,
Mhm.
or yeah, that's what I kind of feel that they can be powered by. Even if you don't believe in the power of the stone itself or the crystal, whenever I look at it, I'm like, hell yeah, boom, remember yourself. It can be
Yeah.
just kind of a reminder when you see it to think positively, think about, remember your power, and just have that thing to like, come on, you can do this. You've got this.
A physical reminder of what you're
Yes,
capable of or something that intentionally sets a positive mood or a positive thought or a positive feeling.
exactly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's see.
We're hitting some research. So we've defined what crystals are. We've shown you what some of the ones I have an amethyst. So mine was given to me by a shaman. In fact, she
Cool.
mailed it to me. And
Oh.
it was because when I was living at the cam house, for those that don't know, I had a lot of spiritual, paranormal evilness. Things were just that house was just the conduit of everything evil, and it just was destroying my life. And I was allowing it to because I just felt so weak. And so she sent me a piece of wood and an amethyst stone, which is packed in my house. I'm in a new house now, by the way, but it's packed and I don't know exactly where it is. But this amethyst is, she just said that like you have to set the intentions. And when you set the intentions, it now your brain automatically will associate what those intentions are with whatever that item is. And it's why when people are going through certain things, oftentimes like a shaman or a therapist or, just different people who are helping guide you through those moments will tell you to like concentrate on the positive and giving you a physical object that's like, every time you see the Sharpie, it reminds me of signing an autograph. Woohoo! But I'm just using that as an example. It just gives you that positive feeling and helps you feel something other than a negative thought or feeling. So,
Hmm. Definitely, from what I'm seeing, amethysts absolutely do this. They ward off evil spirits. Um, Also, I just found out any kind of clear quartz, amplifying positive energy. Any
Yeah.
kind of
what's
clear quartz that
that?
you have, yeah, super cool. There you go. So it can be an amplifier. The first thing that someone ever told me about crystals was it was actually my kung fu brother Kyle who'd given me a few things, and one was for amplifying emotions. It was doesn't matter what they are. The other one was it was a quartz. It was for positivity, and then another one was for it was I can't remember exactly, but I feel like it might be whatever you put into this, it will then become that kind of thing. And he told me he's like you have to watch your attitude, or you kind of have to watch what you're thinking about or doing when you have these crystals on your person, because they can end up amplifying things that are unintentional. So if you're, being a little deviant, it can actually amplify those things if you are, like thinking about something or obsessing about something that might be positive or negative. It can amplify that and just kind of make it go and go and go. So he said, when you have crystals on your body, it's a good idea to do a quick check of yourself. Be like, okay, am I in the right state of mind to be having these things, these unintentional amplifiers on me? Is this the energy that I want to put into this? So to kind of center yourself, then collect your stones and be like, okay, I am ready to amplify the positive, putting down the negative, and just center yourself with your stones, then have them on you and walk around and carry them around. So he said, don't be irresponsible, basically.
Yeah. I think a good cleansing is also good. Is you should cleanse yourself before you put yourself in close proximity of the crystals, or, handle them, because like you said, if you're in a state of deviancy, or, you have evil intentions, a lot of times the intent that you have for someone else ends up being reciprocated to
Mhm.
you, or it doesn't even reach the person that you intended for. It just automatically comes back to you, because it's like, they say when you're opening up spiritual doorways, you don't get to choose what comes through. And the same thing happens with the crystals, is like you have to be mindful that, the intent that you set to someone else could very well be set to yourself. So you got to be mindful of that.
Mhm. For
Same thing
sure.
with when they talk about like binding spells, like you were saying, and things of that nature, like everything that you do comes back to you.
Times 3. It's that. So if you really want to do, set out something, not necessarily, let's call it deviant. If you really want to do like activation, where you're sending something to do your bidding, throw a wrench in someone else's plans, it's kind of a nice way of like keeping us in check. So to make sure that what we're doing is not just our vanity, our ego, our rage, that this is something that's out there to actually stop the other person from harming themselves or others. And it's not just us and our own personal agenda from, you know, letting shit fly.
Ooh, oof,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was deep. Letting shit fly. I personally, I can say, I'm 50 now. I'm now 50. Woohoo! And I can personally say that through my experiences of half a century on this planet. Ooh, that sounds old. I can tell you that karma is real,
Yeah,
and I
Yeah.
have I have had far more success and pleasure sitting back and just letting karma do its thing than trying to intentionally send that negativity to someone. It usually
Yeah.
doesn't happen the way that I want it to, and karma requires patience. But if you let karma do her job, trust and believe whoever's done you dirty will suffer, because people that normally do stuff like that tend to repeat their patterns. So
totally.
Yeah.
If
anybody
someone's
else?
being an idiot, just let them be an idiot. So if someone's saying something or doing something or being a jerk, don't react. Just let them be a jerk. Say nothing. Just allow them to cancel themselves. They will cancel themselves. But you just
Yeah.
gotta mhm, what you
Sit
said,
back
sir.
and watch.
Mhm.
It's not easy. It's not easy,
No.
especially
No, it's so hard.
when people are, and I've experienced this so many times. And we've talked about this, both of us, me and Nikki, you and I, Anita, about like people they just love to come for me. And a lot of it is because I don't lash back, I don't retaliate. I'm just like,
But you're powerful though. People don't come for people, or what is the saying? You'll never get insulted, or you'll never hear negative feedback from someone who's doing better than you, kind
yes.
of thing. So, but because you're a very powerful person, people kind of want to latch onto that and almost as like a test, they want to see what they're made of, or maybe even like, well, if I can take her down, then that means I'm like tougher and more powerful than her, kind of thing. Kind of,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? You might
Yeah.
be experiencing some of that.
But I'm like a cockroach. I ain't going nowhere. I
Oh
might
no.
I might hide out for a little bit and isolate myself and heal and, take care of myself, but shit, I ain't never gone.
Never.
You're always coming back.
I'm like a cockroach. This bitch is blowing up, and I'm still like,
50-cent piece. Yes, that's you.
50. I'm here. I made
50.
it.
Yes.
Speaking of 50, I just want to say I had a fabulous birthday weekend this last weekend. Anita came with her husband and we hung out. We went to Fugo de Chao, which
It
was
was so
so
good.
What
I
was the
ate like
best? What's the best thing to order? What's the best food?
it was the sirloin hen something. Hold on. Let me look
Yeah.
it up.
You
It had
had
this
me at
like
sirloin.
it has like a crispy crust and then a piece of fat, like a little bit of fat, and then the meat, and it's so juicy and tasty. And hold on, sirloin
It was so good.
Oh my god. I
and
eat the gristle. Like I eat the fat on the meat. I don't know why everyone's cutting that off and putting it to the side. If it's an obscene amount, sure. But if you're eating like a T-bone or you're eating something and there's a piece of fat in there, unless it's like cartilagey chewy, I'm eating that shit. Delicious.
that's where the
100%.
freaking taste comes from.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is where the taste comes from. So
Yes, ma'am.
let's see. We are looking see results closer to you. I don't care about the results. I want to hear the names of the meats because I don't remember menu category.
No, they had
Yeah,
so many different options.
I love Fogo de Chao. We went there, Picana. Oh, Picana. Picana. Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's what it is because it started with a P. It
Okay.
was the sirloin picana, and it's Picanha. We also, and this is something you got to come to Baltimore and you have to do this. The Walters Art Museum here in Baltimore was
Yeah.
phenomenal, and we barely even went on the first floor. We celebrated
Walter's
the
Art
Chinese
Museum?
here in
Yeah.
Baltimore. So they did this thing called the Chinese Lunar New Year. Oh, look at that! We have fireworks.
On theme.
So they celebrated the Chinese New Year, and so they had like the dragons, like the whole like
Awesome.
celebration. It was so amazing. So we barely even went in there. What we did see was just awe-inspiring. Like it was phenomenal. You got to come and visit me
Okay.
now, Nikki.
Well, okay. Yes. Number one, I mean, you're my, what am I going to call you? I'm going to have a name for you. Like my spirit guide, but like my,
Spirit animal.
yeah, you can be my spicy spirit animal.
Woo!
Yeah,
You're
you're my
spicy
spicy.
spirit. I like
Yes,
that.
you're my spicy
Yeah.
spirit animal. And also, I absolutely love art, like art museums, art galleries. Absolutely. Art is the only thing that will allow you to see, you know, life through somebody else's eyes, like the perspective of
Yeah.
another. And it's incredibly, incredibly valuable. So totally,
I
for
did not
sure.
realize how much pieces of history were in there. And
Oh,
so I was telling Anita, like it wasn't just art. It was like they had jewelry from the Egyptian Empire. They
love.
Yeah.
had they had statues from the Roman Empire. Like it was not only were you submerging yourself into like history, but you were also getting to see like what people wore, what they
Yeah.
did, and like they had tombs from, it was just amazing
Awesome.
caskets and tombs. Like these things brought so much joy to see, not because of the death aspect, but just that these are actual pieces,
Severely interesting.
right,
Yeah.
timepieces. Like they were showing a sofa that was literally like what we would consider a chase lounge.
Huh.
It was like a little bench, and I'm like, that was their sofa.
I love all that
It was
stuff.
just
Huge,
so
huge
interesting to
history lover.
see.
How art and history intertwine and how art plays such a massive role in our lives. Maybe we don't even realize how much today. And it's
Yeah.
the art that lives on. It's not necessarily like the documents, there might not have been written language, or, I mean, we might lose the language itself, but that art, those statues, those pieces, the way that people, like the physical manifestations of their beliefs and how they created pieces or how they represented that visually through these different items. Incredibly amazing how they worship, how they represent their own sense of like religion or devotion, stuff like that. Like religious artifacts and art, unbelievable. Egyptian, super cool. Can I tell
Yeah.
you a fun fact that I learned the other day, though, about Egyptian stuff?
Yes.
The Sphinx. So we all know what a Sphinx is, like the Sphinx.
Yes.
And so there's also like the Sphinx is crazy, crazy old. And not only does it have like, the person's face on it with the body of the animal, it can also have kind of like a bird-like face, like the older version of it can have like a beak on it, but it's still like the lion cat body. And so they were talking about it's called mythical beasts, and it's a bunch of these different scientific practices coming together to try and figure out why did people think that the Kraken was real and investigate it across many different scientific disciplines and see where this actually came from. Most mythical beasts, like the Loch Ness monster, dragons. Okay, it's not a huge leap, and I think we all got there on our own, that dragons probably came from someone finding, like in China and Europe, found some dinosaur bones, right? They still can't figure out where the wings came from, but they were saying they're like dinosaurs actually affected another animal in history, and it's Egyptian, and they think it's the Sphinx because um, Egyptian folklore, like religious lore, has a lot of different heads with a bunch of different bodies, right? More so than a lot of other things. And so they were saying that the Sphinx, which is one of the oldest of these animals, these mythical or sacred animals, they are thinking that somebody found a Triceratops skeleton and
Hmm.
actually, they're like, because if you had no context, the skeleton of a Triceratops would look like a lion, like because it has four
Yeah.
legs and a tail, but then the head has this amazing like fan on the back of it, and that's where they got like the scarf around the top, and it has a triceratops beak, almost like a turtle beak, but it was then represented like a bird. So it would have the headpiece, the bird mouth with the lion body. And so a triceratops was actually the inspiration for the Sphinx itself as a character, which allowed them to do different things like have, Anubis or like the other guys, the one of the bird head. Yes, which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of crazy and fun. But the Sphinx may have come
Wow.
from dinosaurs. And I think that's it's just such an incredible, interesting little thing when you think about stuff like that, how dinosaurs did exist, aren't even here, but they're influencing ancient religion, ancient religious characters or animals, and
Horus.
they have no idea. Yeah, Horus, there we go. Thank you. Um, yeah, and how all these things are this something they found became this actual artistic artifact that they created, and then they applied value to it or they applied, importance to it, which is incredible to me.
Wow.
Mhm.
So I looked up how were crystals present in Egypt. Let me say that correctly. And it says ancient Egyptians used lapis lazuli, turquoise, carnelian, emerald, and clear quartz in their jewelry. They used some stones for protection and health and some crystals for cosmetic purposes like galena and or malachite ground into the powder as the eyeshadow. Ooh, fun fact.
Oh.
Very
Wow.
fun fact.
Yeah, there's like a whole they talk about Amazonite, known as Uat, to the ancient Egyptians was very popular largely because it was easy to carve. Archaeologists have found Amazonite beads, amulets, and figures in a variety of tombs, including Tutankhamun's.
Oh wow.
I just murdered that, but it was
No,
one of the
you
materials
we got it.
it was one of the materials chosen for the famed Book of the Dead, has hieroglyphics displaying Egyptian funerary rites were carved into the stone. It symbolized the afterlife and protection.
Oh.
Ooh, King
Okay.
Tut. Okay, it's King Tut, but now I see why they call them King Tut for short.
Yeah.
Because Tutankhamun or
Tutankhamun. Mm-hmm.
Tutankhamun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, Nikki.
Well, I mean, he's only famous now, which is because I guess his so they used to recycle like burial things. So what happened was when he died, they made his tomb and his uncle actually came in, swiped it for himself, took everything in Tutankhamun's like tomb, shoved it in the ground. It was lost. That's why it wasn't robbed or in any kind of anything special. So he was kind of like a afterthought. He was only 18. He was only a pharaoh for a little bit and he didn't really get to do much. So his uncle stole his burial tomb, his special thing, and then we all know him now because it was one of the only ones that was intact. But back in the day, they were like, Tootin' who? What? Because he came after, yeah, I won't accidentally misquote something, but that's the only reason why he's famous. He didn't actually do anything that great or wasn't even that important, which I find quite funny.
Well, wasn't it because that he, after hundreds of years, was because of the type of way that he was mummified,
Hmm.
his body was preserved in
His
a
body was
way,
totally preserved.
yeah, in a way that science or like people were just surprised about because oftentimes whether you were mummified or not, like, life and natural things happen and the body would just.
You know Yummy Mummy. You know Yummy Mummy. Mm-mm.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
It's because they threw him in a hole. He was just in like an underground,
mausoleum.
not even a mausoleum. Like he wasn't in anything special. He was in an underground, basically a shaft. They just put him in an underground shaft. There was nothing special about it at all. It wasn't a tomb. It wasn't anything like that they built. Just his uncle stole his fucking tomb, his special mausoleum thing for himself, shoved him and all this stuff into a shaft. I think they maybe burned some incense to be like, oh, forgive me, whatever, sealed it up, and it was completely lost, like airtight, and they just happened to find it by accident.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Little crystal knowledge and a little bit of history knowledge on tonight's Witchy Wednesday. We might have to
Yeah.
call it Witchy Wednesday and history.
Yeah. Witchy history. Oh, yeah. But these things are so
Oh,
like brought together, right? And it's funny
they
that you
are.
even brought up the tarot cards. Everyone thinks that the tarot cards are like um, the next iteration or another iteration of the Book of Thoth, which is the Book of the Dead, which is supposed to give you insight and knowledge on how to bring people back from the dead, cast really magical spells, very powerful spells, give you like tell you the meaning of life, which no. That book they lost a long time ago. So they got it. The Greeks made a version of it, which is a little bit different. The original one was lost. The Greek version was lost. The Renaissance saw it come back, and some dude who wanted to be famous for all like the Egyptian stuff that was happening and he wanted to like make his mark on it, he turned it into cards, like hieroglyph cards. And then he made the tarot book saying that it was like basically the book of the dead in these cards. And it was a new way to read and be able to interpret and use the knowledge from the Book of the Dead. Some other guy copied him, and it's just gone from there. And it's completely not the Book of the Dead, but it's been passed off as Egyptian knowledge. And this, again, this iteration of this book that's people have sought after for literally centuries, and everyone still equates it with Thoth and his book and his spells, which no, it is not. It is not, which I think is kind of sad. But if you say that in some wrong circles, you gonna get your head cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just, you're going to get your head cut off. Not saying that tarot cards are not powerful or they don't have something there. Not saying that. But there were supposed to have been the Book of the Dead, just a new way to read it. But absolutely
Mm.
no, never has been.
Kind of like the Kindle of that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I know that the cards, one of the things that I read was like the reason why they started using pictures was because there was a lot of people in that time period that didn't read.
Yes.
So this
Yes.
was a way for them to be able to read through pictures versus trying to read through text. So
100%. You are absolutely right on that. But it's not the Book of the Dead, and it never has been. But again, you may get beat up for saying this. Anyone on the show, put it in the comments.
look, I could
We can talk.
fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm experienced in fighting.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
like
experienced
that
in fighting.
TikTok where it's like, "Oh, I can fight." What about it? I can fight. So, yeah, that is so interesting. I love like, what is your favorite period in history? Your time period?
Mm.
I
Mine
really
is
like
Roman Empire, but also the story of the Egyptians.
those
Those are
are
two great ones.
yeah, they're on the same timeline. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty like together. Um that's a good one. I really like the alchemy part when everyone is trying to make that fucking alchemy garbage. I really like how just nonsense a lot of that stuff was. Um, either that or else I would have to say prehistory, like Stonehenge kind of bullshit that we know nothing about.
Mm.
When
Mm.
people like worshipped water and stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When there still was water.
Yes.
it's
Yes.
it's now just a simulation. So, no, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Let's
It
Um
go
all
into
will
that.
So there are some must-have crystals for beginners. Clear quartz, which is good for amplification. That's what Nikki was talking about. Amethyst, which is intuition and protection, which is what I have, which she also has on her neck. Rose quartz, which is for love and self-care. Anita, you got a big rose quartz over there, don't
Hmm.
you?
Yeah, I do.
She sure
Black
does.
tourmaline, which is for protection, and citrine, which is for abundance and success. Well, citrine for everyone. You and
Yeah.
you and you
And you. I
and
have some
you.
citrine actually. Not
What?
with me up here, but in my house. I have crystals all
I
over
have
the
no
place in my
citrine.
house.
I have no citrine.
I, well, Nikki, we should go. We should create a trip and go shopping for crystals and get some
Let's do it.
citrine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. So cleansing and charging your crystals. I know you talked about Anita where you put them in the window and let them see light. Are there other ways that you can charge and cleanse your crystals?
Um, mm,
It says here that moonlight, sunlight, water, smudging, and sound.
Sound. That's interesting.
I know like
And
salt water can recharge them
Yeah.
sometimes.
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I went swimming in the Mediterranean with these on, and I felt
Oh,
like that they were more in my mind. I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay, they're more
They were more present.
powerful." Yes,
Yeah.
that it would
I
just
could see
the
that.
stones became special because they were in salt water and then not. Yeah.
I have a amethyst ring that I wore to Expo one year, and I went in the water with it on, so I could see that. It did feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just kind of had this, but I went into the ocean and I set my intention of like because there was negativity at the event, so I went into the ocean and was like, cleanse me of all this negativity and all this. And then when I went back, I just felt totally refreshed.
Yeah, that's a thing. All life came from the ocean.
This
Yeah.
is true. This is true. In fact, there was this thing I was watching on Discovery Channel where they were saying that we spend all this money and all this time trying to explore space, but yet we've explored like 1% of our oceans here on the earth. And that
Mhm.
there's so much that we don't know about what's going on in our own oceans. I
Yeah.
just found that to be fascinating. Like, what? We're out here spending all this money to for, for space exploration, yet here we are with these massive oceans and we
We
are
have no
so
idea.
like no idea what we're swimming in when
Yeah.
we're
No.
swimming.
You should check out a show called Drain the Oceans. And so what they do is they literally there's an event, whether it's a shipwreck, war, or something. A ship will go down, something, 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 or even just like monoliths they'll find under the ocean. They will drain the ocean digitally and kind of show you what's down there, so they can kind of explore and explain what's happening, what it could be, if it's been explored a lot, if it's been risen to the surface, how much they've learned about it, or if they know about it at all, or if it's still unanswered as to what it could be, if it's still a, I guess, archaeological mystery. But Drain the Oceans is a very interesting thing. And
Do they talk about Atlantis at all?
they do, they do. There is some stuff about Atlantis. There's a few theories that it could be an island called High Brazil off of Ireland. There's
Mm.
another one where I don't know if they talk about that, but they do definitely talk about Atlantis, that it could be down by Cuba. And then, of course, there's like the Eye of Africa, which they think it could also be, but they don't really talk about that and Drain the Oceans.
Oh, okay.
But there's definitely, they do talk about High Brazil and the people who left for um, uh, Atlantis. And yeah, because the only real
Okay.
story that we know about it is some dude's account. It's like Plato's fucking story about it,
Yeah,
because it's
Plato's
super
story.
detailed about with like the dimensions of like the rings and stuff, that people assume that it's true, but he got it from somewhere and they kind of base it off of that.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm interested that if we're talking about the ocean, like
Hell yeah.
Atlantis, the Titanic,
Oh yeah.
and Bermuda's Triangle.
Those are 2, 3 big ones that are in the show. Go check it out for sure. The Bermuda
Okay, that's
Triangle,
called
super interesting. It's called Drain the Oceans.
Drain the Oceans.
Mhm.
Roman Santos, we're all going shopping for crystals on your dime. You're
Yeah.
paying. You're paying. So that's so interesting. I for me like the other thing about the ocean is they covered it in a movie. Like, well, they didn't cover it, but it was like part of a movie that George Clooney was in. And they were talking about the storms of the ocean and like how literally like 1 minute it's like clear and then the next minute it's like this massive storm that's
Mhm.
like yeah, it was very interesting. So those things, yeah, there's so much to learn about it.
Yes.
And
Those are called, what are those storms called? They're called something. They're called
not a monsoon,
Oh, I know what you're talking
typhoon.
no,
about.
not
If you know what it is, let us know in the comments. Not a hurricane,
no,
not a typhoon, cyclone, tropical cyclone,
no. It's
not a
they're
tropical
called,
storm.
okay, microbursts, or
There's another name for them, right?
there's another name for them. I mean, they could just be called a storm surge, but there's a specific name that's like that.
I think it is storm surge.
Is it surge?
I think so.
Microburst, yes.
If any of you know in the audience, leave it. Let us know in the comments. We would like to know. We're stumped. We're stumped. So
Tempest?
tying it,
Oh, squall. I'm thinking of a squall.
a
Okay.
squall.
Mhm.
Okay,
Ooh.
is that SQAUALL?
SQUALL.
Okay, squall. Okay, a sudden violent gust of wind or a localized storm, especially when bringing rain, snow, or sleet. Okay.
Okay.
You learned it today right here on Witchy Wednesday.
Yes.
We're learning all kinds of new stuff today. You guys are
I watch
going
a
to
ton of
school.
Discovery. I watch a ton of Discovery. I'm a
I love
nerd.
it.
Yes.
Yes. So to finish up our crystals,
Hmm.
how often should you cleanse your crystals?
I don't
It
know.
depends on how often you use them.
Okay. So if you're using them daily, you should probably cleanse them a lot more than if you just
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that.
Hmm.
I never thought about that. Like it I guess you should put that on your routine as like brush teeth, cleanse crystals.
How
you know.
how would you cleanse your crystals?
That's a good question. How do you cleanse your crystals?
You could run them under like running water to
Hmm.
neutralize the negative energy. Soak
It
them in salt
says
water.
cleansing with quartz or selenite. Go ahead, Anita.
Hmm.
Um, I know like leaving them out to recharge is like not really cleansing them, but I know just like soaking them in salt water helps cleanse them, and like running them under the water
Hmm.
for
Now
like
let's
10 seconds.
okay, it says sound. You can use sound and the vibrations from chimes, bells, a tuning fork, and singing bowls to create a bath to cleanse the crystals. Sound vibration is excellent for cleansing crystals. I just wanted
Mm.
to look up what the sound does. It also says meditation, breathing, sprinkling salt over the crystals, sage, soak them in water, cleansing with the sound, which is what we were just talking about. And it says involves using vibrational frequencies to clear your crystals.
Hmm.
Um, rice, soil, a smoke cleansing. Smoke cleansing plants and properties. There are many types of materials that can be bundled and or dried to use as a smoke clearing tool. Smudging, sunlight, running water, and moonlight. So that
Very
is
cool.
very interesting. I just
Huh.
learned something totally new. I never thought the sound, and I guess with the vibrations and like you see people doing like the sound bowls and everything. I guess that has a cleansing impact on your crystals.
Mhm.
So
And I guess if
I'm
they're
gonna do
meant
this.
to like amplify the vibrations, then vibrations
Yes.
could cleanse them themselves. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, it probably wards off anything that might be attached negatively.
Yeah.
So you know,
I got a bunch
or
of
you could
dirty crystals.
you deviant. You deviant. So what are the best crystals for love, money, success, and psychic protection? Psychic protection.
Hmm.
Well, let's look that up. Best crystals. Well, it says up here, love and self-care, rose quartz.
Rose quartz, yeah.
Money and success was citrine. Abundance and success. And psychic protection was amethyst. So we already know the answer to that. We already talked about them earlier on your crystals for beginners, the must-haves. So
Yeah.
We
You
got
could also
this.
use ruby, and there's a crystal called carnelian, which is like to boost passion in your relationship.
ooh, let me get some of
I'm
that.
going to choose to use ruby, okay? I'm choosing ruby, and I will just choose to have rubies always. Just ruby.
You
Say
don't need
anything
any
about diamonds
passion.
in there?
They're a girl's best friend.
Yeah, what about
Yeah.
emeralds?
Are you looking for excuses to buy yourself jewelry?
It's less excuses, more like, you know, positive soul maintenance. You know what I mean? Just like aura.
Or hinting to your wifey?
Yeah, yeah, mostly that. Like hinting, like I'm about rubies. Like I'm about that ruby life. Buy me a ruby. Ruby
Yeah.
Tuesday. Ruby Soho.
Ruby Wednesday. It's
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah, that too. So, well, it's been
Emerald
a fun
Wednesday too.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emerald Wednesdays. Yes, it has been a very interesting episode, Nikki. It's been a joy. I've spent the whole night with you. Like we went from boob tube to Witchy Wednesday, and I really don't want to shut it down. I'm having a good time, but we
hmm
if we just let this go live, we'd be here all night.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Thank you for allowing me to spew my knowledge on your lovely show, Anita. It was lovely to sit
It
with
was
you and
so
meet you.
great to meet you.
You too.
Tell
Um,
everybody how they can find you on the interweb.
Well, my handle down here, Nikki Knight or Nikki_Knight at on Twitter. On Blue Sky, I'm Nikki Knight at B Sky Verified. Instagram, Cam Coach Nikki. And if you ever want to know and you forget all this shit, just nikkiknight.com. NIKKINIGHT.com. Boom. Has all the answers.
All the answers.
All the
Oh,
answers.
yeah.
hmm
Anita, it's your turn, baby.
So I'm Anita X Valentina on all social media. So nice and simple for you. You can put it into any search and I will pop up, or you can just
But
Google it
just pop,
and I
pop,
pop
pop,
up
pop,
there
pop
too.
up. Phew.
Pop.
Yes, and you guys know where to find me. Right here on iHeartBBW.com all the time, doing great things.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing new, nothing new. But with that being said, we're gonna bring this to a close. You know how we end things. We gotta show some love. So let's throw those hearts in the
Love.
air and wave them like we just don't care. Mine doesn't do hearts. How does that?
Turn
It's
on your
my
reactions.
webcam.
Yeah. There you go.
Hers does it too. I have to figure. I have this one that I just got off of Amazon. So
Turn on your reactions. It should be on your computer. Standard voice. Yeah. Turn on. Look in your computer. Turn on video reactions.
yeah, I'll have to.
There's lots of
Is
them.
it? Is it in the settings? The
Yes,
system
it is.
preferences?
System preferences. Isn't
Oh,
it like
where in
this?
the system
Like this?
preferences? Is it display?
Um.
Y'all are
Oh,
right here with us. We're figuring this out.
Okay.
look.
And you have a Mac?
Yes.
Okay. So in system preferences or system settings, under search, reactions.
I have an older Mac, so it might not.
Oh, it's under accessibility. Zoomed image moves.
Accessibility. Where is oh, accessibility. Zoom. Choose display, advanced. Use keyboard check. No.
No, I'm
Oh,
wrong.
No, it doesn't work for me. It says my thing is too
Boo.
old.
no. Boo.
Oh, it says it's
Mm,
not recent enough.
no.
Fuck that noise.
Well, anyways, we will see you guys next week, same time, same bat channel, 10 p.m. Eastern
Yes.
Standard Time, right here on YouTube, iHeartBBW. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Mwah. See you guys next time.